Howdy guys, it's Joe here, and here I'm to tell you guys the top 5 best Overwatch heroes to rank up fast with. Now I got this data from looking at the top 500 players, and just by looking at, Overwatch hero play rates and Overwatch hero win rates, and just kind of comparing them and seeing what heroes really give you the most bang for your buck when you try to learn them, or even when you're just mediocre at them, who can give you a little bit more wins than other heroes. And of course this does apply just for right now, and there is a new Season 3 update coming very soon. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of buffs, a lot of nerfs. We've already seen some, so make sure to leave any updates in the description down below, talking about other heroes that may replace people right here. And as far as for now, nobody on this list has really been nerfed so badly in the Season 3 pre-update in the PTR that they're unplayable, or even that they're bad at all. All these characters are still very strong, so I'd say they're still really worthwhile to learn for Season 3, and really worthwhile to get really used to while the new season does start. With that all said though, let's just get going. So for the number 5 spot, I decided to put on Ana. Now, Ana's been a character that we've seen a lot recently. We've been seeing just a ton of Ana play, and Ana's a character that takes a little while to master, but once you've mastered her, you can do amazing as this person. One of the things that I personally think is the best part about Ana is that she can somewhat counter flankers if you have very, very good aim, especially Genji you can do decent against, and as well with that, you can somewhat counter people like McCree and a Soldier 76 if you have better aim than them, but mainly, you can do really, really great against enemy supports. Often when there's someone like a Pharah and a Mercy flying right behind her, I'll be able to snipe Mercy out of the sky, 1, 2, 3, and she's dead. And there's really not way too much they can do about it. If you have very good aim as this character, you can take people out super quickly. As well with this, Ana just has a lot of very high impact things, such as her E, which completely stops healing, once again countering other supports, and of course her shift, which stops every ultimate in the game that takes a little while to go off. Now, I'd say this is especially important as, of course, in solo queue when you're playing, or even as a team, if you happen to shift like a nano boost to Reinhardt from the enemy team, you've pretty much won your whole team the fight. It takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of practice, you really have to know when to do this, you have to be really good at aiming your shift, but if you can happen to hit it, you're going to have a huge impact, and that's really just kind of how Ana works as a whole as a support. As well, she does have one of the best ults in the game, at least for right now. It is getting nerfed on the PTR, but even with that, I feel like it will be a pretty strong ultimate, and we'll just gonna really have to see from there. Now for the next spot, it actually just does happen to be Genji. Now I feel like Genji's really been that character that people think of when they want to main a character and carry their team. Genji's kind of the character you think of when you're like, you know what, I want to carry my team. I want to get a lot of kills, I want to get a lot of damage, I want to have a lot of mobility, and that is of course what he very much specializes at. Now some people do just happen to play Tracer for this role, which is kind of good. I mean, it does have a little bit more mobility, but I feel like the thing that really puts Genji ahead of anyone else is that he has a very consistent team wiping ultimate. It's not very hard to get 1 kill and turn that into 2 or 3 or 4 kills, and it's not very hard in order to just completely take out the enemy back line. As well, they don't really have to be scrunched up together like many other ultimates do require, so overall I will say he's probably one of the stronger people if you put in the time to learn him, and just one of the stronger people to carry by yourself. Now, another character that I actually very much see at these higher rankings happens to be Roadhog. And now Roadhog is a character that you think you're like, doesn't really take way too much skill, you get a few hooks, and that's about it. But if you do happen to be an amazing Roadhog, you can actually carry super well. Now imagine this, imagine playing Roadhog, and just about every game, you run up, you get a hook, you kill someone, you wait for your hook again, and then you initiate with your team. If you can make a lot of fights, 5v6s, you can make your team win. Now, the problem about Roadhog is that he is very hard to play consistently. It's very hard to know where to position. It's very hard to know where you can get some picks at. And it's very hard to even hit the picks, as a lot of people do have mobility in this game, which really just makes him a bit harder of a character to just be consistent with again. But if you can happen to get these, you can happen to kill the enemy team. Another thing that I really do like about Roadhog is that he has an insane DPS for being a tank, I guess you could say, and just the other fact that he is a tank. You're more of a bruiser type of tank, and you really can sustain yourself quite a bit. You don't have to focus on your team way too much, you don't need way too much healing from your supports, you can do well somewhat by yourself, and you can get out picks if you are very good at this character, which is something that I very much do appreciate, as getting picks is just something that's super useful when you're playing Overwatch and when you're trying to carry your team. Now for McCree, I feel like a lot of people are thinking, McCree's got to be number 1. McCree's got to be the best, and I do agree, McCree has been amazing for patch upon patch upon patch. If you want to learn a character and you want to really be good for a long time, learn McCree, and you'll be really doing fine. But the thing about McCree that I feel like really puts him down just a little bit, at least in this patch alone, is the fact that McCree doesn't have the highest play rate. He really isn't the most in the meta. He is in the meta more than someone like Soldier or someone like Widow, but just hit scan right now isn't like the top-notch thing in the meta. Even with that said though, I will say that McCree still is a very, very strong character and still can carry you games if you are amazing as him. Now I'd say if you're average as him, he can be like an average character, you can do decent enough, but if you become amazing with this guy, you're pretty much the best character in the game. You have super far range, you have super high DPS, very consistent DPS. I'd say though, for the average person, you could maybe get about 50-60% hit rate, maybe get a few headshots now and then, which is still good enough. I'd say that's really good enough to do well as McCree, to carry a lot of matches, And overall, you're just a very strong character. You have good close range, good far range, you have an E that can counter ultimates, you pretty much have everything you really need as a character, and if you can become very good at this guy, if you can mainly learn how to position as well, as that's a little bit hard as him, then I say you will be able to do well, you'll be able to carry a lot of your games, but it will put a lot of time and a lot of effort into your hands in order to make him a very strong character for you to play. And finally, we have Zarya, and I will say that Zarya is the best right now, simply because she has a huge play rate. And she can carry very easily. She's a tank, which is super nice. She can counter pretty much any ability in the game with her shield and with her E. She's a super high DPS, and she has one of the best ultimates in the entire game, and really one of the best ultimates as far as team play, as it makes your team all attack the people in your ultimate. As well with this, I feel like something that really makes her great about ranking up fast with is the simple fact that she's really not way too hard to pick up and play, and her skill barrier really isn't way too high. You don't have to spend way too much time in order to get good enough as Zarya, and I feel like good enough is really all you have to be in order to win quite a few games with this character. It's not like someone like McCree that you have to spend a lot of hours practicing on. You don't have to spend all these hours trying to get headshots, trying to get good at far range, close range, medium range. As Aria, you mainly just have to get good at medium range, get good at somewhat using your E and your shift, and get some nice ultimates, and once you got that, you're really good enough, and you're going to be able to do great in your games. Now, of course, with that said, if you can become an amazing Aria, get 100% tracking rate, get really good at using your right click in order to get kills, and getting so good at your shift and your E that you can counter pretty much any skill shot in the game, or pretty much any CC or damage in the game, such as a clutch and a shift, maybe McCree E, maybe a Mei ultimate that you have to use on your support in order to get them out of the map. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with Aria. I feel like she really does have a low entry in order to play her, but she has a decent enough skill cap, so you'll be able to play her for a long time. She'll be fun for a long time, and you'll be able to improve while improving your rank, while improving just everything in this character. Overall, I feel like she's just a great character in order to rank up fast with, and I'd really recommend her, at least if you want to try to start to rank up a little bit quicker. And that's really all I have to say about these. Of course, this is just from my own personal experience. This is from just looking at the top 500 players, seeing what they're playing the most, and seeing just kind of how the win rates are fluctuating. So, of course, this is just my own opinion. Of course, as always, these are always going to be opinion-based. And with that said, tell me your own opinion in the comment section down below. Maybe who you've been playing in order to rank up quickly with, and maybe you can give some tips on your character that you've been playing if you want to try to help people out. If of course, you've been doing well yourself. It's always a very nice thing to do. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, as always, leave a like, comment down below, or press that subscribe button. And as always, have a wonderful day.